All right, joining us now is somebody I have proudly endorsed for the U.S. Senate. He was senator once before, Senator and Governor George Allen. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Sean. How about yourself?
I'm good. You sound great. I heard you saw the great one over the weekend. Is that true?
Yes, I did. We're at the Redskins game together.
He's living the life of luxury these days, hanging out in the owner's box at the Redskins game and having a good time with you. And I heard Krauthammer was there, and you all had a good time.
Yeah, I had some commiserating with it, and you're welcome to any game as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Senator. The team's not doing that well this year, is it?
No, they're not. Hopefully they'll draft a quarterback in the upcoming round, and they need some more of an offensive line as well. They've had so many injuries, and at any rate, they're still trying and making the effort. Most importantly, we get our country on the right track, and I envision a better future for our country where it's more competitive with more jobs and opportunities for us and for our children, and have that peace of mind knowing that our children will have a better quality of life than what we're seeing coming out of Washington these days.
Well, I saw the debate that you had against Mr. Kaine the other day, former DNC chair. Now, this is a guy as the head of the DNC. He was the national chairman. He said that Obama would go down in history. ObamaCare, one of the greatest achievements of this president, and he's still apparently in this debate doubling down on this.
Yeah, it sure is, Sean. And in fact, he also said that ObamaCare would be, and I quote, an important step towards getting our economy back on track. And, I've listened to a lot of small business owners throughout Virginia, and this healthcare mandate and dictates to businesses, particularly small businesses, is such an impediment for them hiring more people on. And seniors are worried they're getting less coverage with it, and there's taxes involved in it, and then there's obviously some of the unions and so forth get exemptions and waivers from it. But this healthcare monstrosity, in my view, I'd love to be the deciding vote to repeal and replace it, because we just can't afford it, and it's very harmful for creating more jobs, particularly for small businesses. And the reason I bring up small businesses is that the reality is most of the jobs are created by startups and small businesses. So the last thing we need is more taxes and impediments to them hiring people on.
It's amazing in the great Commonwealth of Virginia that you've got this race. It seems more heated than any other race out there at this time, with still almost a year to go, 11 months to go. And you put out an ad today, and it says Tim Kaine, President Obama's senators, not Virginia.
Well, the reason for that is we're using his own words, and in fact, he was handpicked to be chairman of the Democratic National Committee, and in his last year in office as governor, he was spending a lot of time doing that. And so on every significant issue and proposal of President Obama, he's been one of the key strong advocates for it. And he's for imposing these huge tax increases even in the midst of a recession, something that he tried to do repeatedly as governor. He's for this massive stimulus spending, which he said would jumpstart the economy, but as you well know, has only left us deeper in debt and without the jobs that were promised. And the reality is we just can't afford this waste and these burdensome policies coming out of Washington that put American entrepreneurs at a competitive disadvantage.
Why do you think his predecessor decided not to run for a second term? Or your predecessor, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a personal decision. It's a personal decision for Susan and me to get into it. And I saw what's going on in Washington, and whether it's these government mandates on health care or these job-killing mandates and regulations on energy, I saw how that's all hurting families and seniors and small businesses, and you see how every vote counts. And that's why I've gotten off the sidelines and into the fight, because I really do believe this 2012 election is going to determine the trajectory of our country, whether we continue declining or begin ascending again. And I have the good news, Sean, is there are proven solutions and achievable reforms that can get our country going in the right direction.
Well, I got to tell you something. It really is, I think, a pivotal moment in history. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I think you winning the Commonwealth of Virginia is very, very crucial. I think Virginia's shown that with, for example, I think Bob McDonnell's done a great job as governor.
Yes, he has.
So the people of Virginia, it's viewed now as a purple state. How tough do you think it's going to be in this election cycle? How popular is Obama?
Well, I think it's going to be a close race in Virginia. President Obama has his campaign team already bringing people in and opening up offices. I do think the good job that Bob McDonnell's doing as governor, particularly compared to his predecessor, my opponent Tim Kaine, who left a budget with a big hole in it to be filled with a massive tax increase, which ultimately was rejected on a bipartisan basis. But Governor McDonnell was able to balance the budget without raising taxes. And Virginia's doing better thanks to that, I think, common sense conservative leadership. But Virginia, Sean, you're exactly right. By all objective measurements and observations, is going to be right in the eye of the political storm. If we win, this U.S. Senate race will be in a majority in the U.S. Senate, and I can't see anyone getting elected president without carrying Virginia as well. So Virginians love talking about making history, and we're going to have an opportunity to shape history in a positive way this upcoming 2012 election.
What do you think of the Republican primary?
Well, I'm for whoever runs strongest in Virginia, and I hope they agree with my blueprint for America's comeback, which is a good plan of action to make sure that we're more competitive for jobs and investment with better tax policies, reasonable regulations, unleashing our American energy resources, and reining in and overspending, overreaching federal government. So
you're not going to get involved.
I'm watching it.
You're not going to get involved in the primary.
No, I'm not. As I say, Sean, I'm for whoever runs strongest in Virginia, because that person, and hopefully whomever it is in agreement with the agenda and ideas that we're putting forth.
Do you think there's a battle, an intramural battle between the Tea Party and the establishment?
Well, in our campaign, we're trying to get everyone motivated to join our A-team, as we call it. And we have Tea Party supporters and activists of various sorts, and veterans and small business owners, clergy, and others. So, for the Republican Party is a broad and diverse party, and I've always felt it's important to get all the wings flapping together in the same direction. And then also welcome people who are independent voters and sound-thinking Democrats. And so in our campaign, I said, look, we need to welcome anybody who pays taxes, works for a living, drives a car, or cares about their family. If they meet any of that criteria, they ought to be on our side, because our ideas are going to be beneficial to them.
All right, Senator, it's going to be great to have you back there. We're going to watch your race very closely, because I think Virginia could be a very pivotal. Well, the Commonwealth of Virginia will be a key state in this election. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and a very clear choice. And folks can go to georgeallen.com, georgeallen.com, or join us on Facebook as well. And we need friends all over America for our battle.
All right, George Allen, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Thank you. 800-941-SEAN is our number if you want to be